No problem. It's not shared yet.
One second. How about now? Can you see my screen?
Yes, please.
Sharing my. Thanks for the information. So for this demo, what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you an overview of Oracle Cloud applications, right? Then I'm going to talk about the modules that are part of the training, which includes your inventory management, order management, and product management. Then I'm going to talk about a little bit of data conversion strategy in cloud, how it works in cloud. Okay, and I know that few of them are from EBS side, so I'll give you comparison between EBS as well as cloud, how it works in cloud, so that you can repeat that experience. Okay, then I'll touch reports. Okay, so I'm not going to do a reporting, but at least I'm going to show you what is the functionality of Oracle Cloud reporting. Okay, how to navigate and how to create reports, how to run a SQL queries. Okay, then apart from this, right, during the course, what we do, we also go through the configuration workbooks. Again, it's called as ERMlets. Okay, then function specific documentations, which includes report spec. We'll take one example as a report spec. How do we develop a report spec? What it takes, what are the parts of the document. So these are, in case if you're first time coming to the IT world, okay, what are the documents that you deliver as part of your deliverables in a project? Okay, so we'll talk about those things also in this course. Apart from that, there is something called as user management. In EBS world, it is called as system administrator. How do you create a user? How do you navigate roles? Okay, and how to create a custom roles. This will be part of your user management. FSM is like configuration in system, which helps you to configure your application in cloud. Okay. Then you have PDH. Item management basically talks about all your item creation process. How do you create? How do you manage? Okay. How to create some sort of request to create an item or system generated numbering. Okay, and now data workflows. These will be part of your item management. But for now, we'll just go through the basic features so that I can want to give you a glimpse of Oracle Cloud applications. Okay, any questions?
Are you covering about the basic subscription models like PaaS, SaaS, and IaaS?
Yeah, so correct. So those are like terminologies and the differences. As part of your Oracle Cloud, in the training we'll cover it. What exactly SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS. But are you looking for advanced or content, or is it like just what is the difference between these things? In comparison, we will cover what exactly is IaaS, PaaS, and how to do this. That is what we will cover.
Okay, I mean, we were aware of only SaaS, but
Correct.
basic differences between PaaS
That
and IaaS need some clarification.
yeah, that will be part of our course curriculum when we start. Right, we will go through what is IaaS. But again, it is just a description and overview of comparison with
Okay.
which customers uses what flavor on what basis. Okay, that will be part of it. Okay, any other questions?
Pramod, sorry, I was on mute. Naveen
Right.
from this side. I have one question. Like I was looking for a core functional training. So this training is going to solve the purpose of getting a good hands-on and knowledge on the functional part.
Correct. This is only functional, but as part of the course, we'll also go through the reports and OTPA. OTPA is again, it is not majorly from the technical side; it's a drag and drop technology. So we'll cover that part also. But
Which one?
to answer
OTP?
it, OTBI, Oracle Transaction Business Intelligence, that is
Okay, OTPI.
nothing but OTBI reporting. Okay, so it is again drag
Okay.
and drop how to create a reports, but it is not technically. You can just consider this as a functional tool. Okay, but unless if you are creating major dashboards or major complicated scenarios, then probably you need help of technical, or else a function can do this one. to answer your question, this course is for functional.
Okay, and this functional SCM, right? What are the modules it will cover? As you are
We are
saying, you are comparing with EBS, right? So
correct. So
which one?
we will cover inventory model, inventory, order management, and PDH, which is nothing but item management.
Okay.
Security, FSM, these are anyways, it's a basic functionality. So that is not called as a module, but again, that's altogether different.
Okay, it's a new thing in the fusion. So
Yes, but it is again, it's a configuration. It is not a what do you call? We call it as a model, but again, it is a basic functionality of the product. Any ERP system where you go and configure the application, right? That's called as FSM. All right.
right.
Any other questions?
So last question, Pramod, if I'm not taking much of your time.
Sure.
So I have an experience of like say 6 to 7 years in the manufacturing part of the EBS technical.
Okay.
So I was looking for the functional knowledge from like say O2 as we have in EBS O2C P2P, right? Like from creation of order to till the GL when it goes to cost management to SLA to GL. So this course or any additional thing which needs to be incorporated into this to get that kind of a functional knowledge. It's like not
Manufacturing
core
is
to fusion or EBS. I'm looking for a core functionality, like
this is a
not
core
EBS and
functionality. Yeah, I
okay,
understand. So, but manufacturing is not part of this course to
okay,
just set you the expectations. So we are not even
okay.
touching the manufacturing. But again, I'm telling you, there are few scenarios where we touch manufacturing. Let's say, for example, when you do a back-to-back order, let's assume if there is a flow in order management where it creates a work order. Then it triggers a work order. Then you have to complete the work order. Then you have to ship the product to the customer. So in that scenario, I'm going to give you an overview of what is a basics of manufacturing, but not you cannot consider that as a full-fledged manufacturing. So what is required for us to complete that flow? That details or that configuration will let you know.
Okay, okay. And it will be till which point, like say OEM, you are dealing OEM and procurement
Invoicing.
and till
Invoicing.
invoicing.
Invoicing basically will create an invoice and will show you how to create an invoice, how the invoice is displayed in Salesforce.
Okay, okay. And any chance of explaining about the tables and specific columns when we
Yeah,
have
that
comes?
is what. So when we actually do the data conversions, we will show you the tables, we'll run the backend queries, and I'm going to show you how the data is pushed to the interface. And from the interface, when you run the import program, how data is moved from the interface to staging, interface to base tables, and we'll go through that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, thanks.
that will be covered. That will be covered.
Sure.
Any other
Thank you for
questions?
it.
Anyone? Any other questions?
Like if you're going for a SaaS model, so what is like basic requirements for the system? Like, I mean, does Oracle recommend us to have some specific memory
Subscription model,
requirements?
basically it's a subscription model. You just pick what is, see again, it depends upon the client, what modules are, what are their current requirements. Okay. And based on the rest, for example, they have operations, which includes, warehouse and finance and procurement, and they have sales, let's assume. Okay. Now they don't have any major scenarios of customizing the products, then they can just subscribe to these models. And what they can do is they can just opt what is that they want to. Maybe if for warehouse, they want to implement inventory management. For sales order management, procurement modules. To finance, maybe AR and AP. Then you choose how many licenses you have, then subscribe and then start using the product. Unless you have a major customization where the forms, the pages that Oracle is giving is not uh, suit or doesn't fit to your business requirement. You want to develop something different. Then you create a PaaS model where you can create your forms and start integrating or sending the data into those forms. Unless, apart from that, most of the projects are run on SaaS model itself.
Okay, I was just looking for the system requirements. Like, I mean, it's just a subscription model. So if you subscribe,
Subscription.
that's
It's a
it.
pay and
So,
use model, basically. It's a pay and use. What is that you want to use, or what is that you want to implement based on the customer requirements? You just enable it. It's like, buying a subscription model for a, media or Netflix or Z, anything, right? So you enable what is actually required for you, and then you use it and you pay it.
okay,
If you're
so yeah,
if you're using multiple accounts, then you have to pay for the accounts.
got it. So I don't need anything specific memory space
Nothing.
required. Just I can use directly, plug
Yeah,
and
yeah.
play.
I mean, it is just a URL which you directly log in and use. You don't have to, you know, have you to download anything else. All right. So let me get started. Any other questions? The last question.
Good
We're running
morning.
off time.
Good morning. I'm Srikanth.
Yes, Shikhar.
Hey, I'm a financial functional consultant having 25 years experience.
Okay.
But I do have exposure in EBS modules quite comfortably working in GE. But in SaaS model, I never experienced. And for my projects, upcoming projects, I just wanted to have some knowledge on this order management, procurement, supply chain, etc. Whatever this is. So, are you covering this order management, purchasing?
Order management, correct. Order management is part of this course itself, inventory order
Okay.
management.
And procurement? I mean, in this PO, inventory.
Inventory is a part, yes. Procurement, we are not going to cover full-fledged because, wherever the flows you are not applicable, then we are going to do that part.
So,
Because
what is it
procurement,
covered? Can you please just put a text here? What is
Yeah.
it covered in this course?
so we're going to cover inventory, order management, PDSU, which is nothing but item management, FSL, which is the configuration, and we're going to do the data conversions.
Data conversion, the sensorized components you wanted to take it?
Not the entire rice components, it's just a conversion.
All rice
where
component. Okay.
Basically, conversion objects, which means
Okay.
loading the on and balance, loading the items.
Okay.
Those are the-
What about PO creation and all?
See, that's what. So this course is purely about, order management inventory. And in case if there's a full drop shipment, back-to-back order, in that scenario, we'll come back to procurement and we'll go to show you how the equation is created, how the purchase order is created, how do you receive the material, and how do you ship it back to the customer based on the purchase.
What is FSM?
Function setup management.
Sorry?
Functional setup management.
Functional setup management. Okay. Okay. So procurement, do we need to have a separate course?
Correct.
Okay. And BOM and WIP also a different course that we are.
Correct. That is part of manufacturing. There is no
Manufacturing and all. Okay. So PDH, are you giving the end-to-end flow, product data hub?
Yes, basically what we are going to do, we are going to showcase how to configure the entire item management, and we are also going to show you, the configuration, the workflow for NIR, new item request, how do you create a new item request, and how do you have that security for the item management. That is covered, and change approval also. In case if you want to change the item, do you want to require the approval mechanism for that one, then we can do this one.
Okay. So are you providing the access to this environment? I mean,
yes, we do.
Okay. And what is the timelines expected to complete
2
all these?
2 months.
2 months. Okay. So daily 9 o'clock, you mean to say?
Yes, that's the that is the current timeline what we have.
Okay. But let us, sorry, I'm late, today, and I joined, but no one is talking, so I dropped and again I joined back. But are we sticking the time, because I need to jump into number of meetings and all. So
Yes.
So again,
Yeah, I know this is a demo. So again, this is a
okay,
demo.
I understand.
So what
I
we
agree
want to
with
do.
you, but definitely once we fix this, the course and make the payments and all, I appreciate punctuality 9 to 10, but doesn't mean that somebody start at 9 means 9:15, then end up at 45 minutes. That not works for me.
Correct. I definitely understand what you're getting.
Yeah, but thank you. Thank you. What should I call you?
Pramod. My name is Pramod.
Thomas. Okay. Pramod.
Pramod.
Okay.
Pramod. Okay.
Hope it's
Okay.
a full name or a proxy name. Thank you.
Right. Pramod. Okay. All right. So let's get started. We already spent a lot of time on the questions. I mean, at least hope most of the questions are all being clarified. That's what I think. But again, in case if you still have any questions, we can take off. So, all right. So this is your home landing. Sorry, this is your login page to log into the cloud applications. Okay. Now you'll be given this URL. You'll be given this URL. Assume you are a consultant. You'll be given this URL, or if you're a business user, it's the same URL. Then you use the username and password to log into the applications. Now, username is not a case sensitive, uppercase, lowercase, it doesn't matter, but password is your case sensitive. Okay. So in case if you're not using case sensitive, then the password doesn't work. Then in case if you want to reset your password, if you forget password, there's always an option to click on the forget password and retrieve your passwords. It's a basic functionality of the most of the web-based products. Okay. Then you click on, once you click on the sign in button, then you get into the landing page of our cloud applications. Right. So again, we are using a demo pod. So sometimes it is kind of in terms of performance it is delayed, but this is how it is. Okay. Now this is your landing page of cloud applications. Okay. Now on my left side, you see something called as navigator. The 3 lanes. It is called as navigator. Now, when you click on this, it expands and it displays certain links. See, subscriptions, product management, supply chain executions. Okay, and order management tools. Okay, there are a lot of things that is getting displayed here. These are displayed based on the role and responsibility that is assigned to you in the application side. Right? Let's say, for example, if you're a warehouse operator, okay, or a warehouse manager, and your role is to manage all your inventory, okay, which includes your inventory transaction, checking the quantities, checking the counts and everything, or shipments. Then probably you should have a role that allows you to perform all these things in the system. Okay, based on that, system will display those icons. Okay. Now this is called as springboard or the home page. Now whatever is displayed here will be displayed here itself. It's a different ease of navigation on the UI page. All right. So if you click on the order management, in case if you have access to the row, then you can see these icons: order management, pricing administrator. Okay, these are the roles that will be displayed. Icons basically. Okay. So you can navigate here. Now on the top, you see a black ribbon. The first one is the search criteria. In case if you want to search something, basically, right? You can use the search. So this search displays what is available in the system. This is called as global search. And this search can be customized to display what information. It can be a favorites, a people, navigator, recent items, or popular searches. So you can enable these things, and what system will do, it will display based on the search criteria. Clear? Right. Now on my left side, sorry, right side, this is called as a home button. Any page if you navigate and when you click on this button, it ideally takes you to the landing page for applications. Then you have something called as favorites. This is like a bookmark icon. Most of the web pages have this option where in case if you're navigating and if you want to save that as a bookmark, you can click on this and it again, helps you to navigate to those screens easily because you can create these and system will allow you to navigate to this page easily. Let's say, for example, my requirement is order management, which means on a daily basis, my job is to, come to order management or create sales orders or manage my sales orders rather than navigating to multiple screens or steps. What I can do, I can just create this as, favorite so that I can directly go to the page. Okay. Click on this favorites, add to favorites. Okay, manage orders. I can call this as review my orders. I can create a folder so that I can organize my favorites, or I can just click on save and close. Okay. Now, if I go to my favorites icon, it displays here, review my orders. So when I click on this, ideally it takes you to that page. Okay. Based on the favorites. Right. So this is a basic functionality of favorites. Now you have something called as watch list. In case if you want to monitor something, you can do this one. Okay. Then you have notifications, which is like an alert or a pop-up which will display. Sorry, which will display anything that you need to act, or anything that you need for an information. Okay. So this is your notifications icon. Now I'm going to show you the user management. Now here you have something called as tools. Okay, you have something called as tools. Under that, you have something called as security console. Security console will allow you to manage users, manage roles in the application side. Okay, manage your roles and manage your user accounts. Okay, now here this is your role, and in case if you want to search an existing role, you can search warehouse manager. Okay, and it displays all the privileges. Now, in comparison with EBS, in EBS you have a responsibility that is called a menu, sub-menu, right? Similarly here, you have something called as privileges, which will control what you can do based on this role. In case if you have this role, what you can do. So that is control based on these privileges. Is it clear? Now, in case if you want to compare two roles, let's say for example, I have two roles. Okay, one is, let's say, warehouse operator. Let's assume this is one role. Okay, and this is my other role. I want to see the differences. In case if I want to know what is the differences between these two. All right, so I click on this OK, and I click on this compare. Right, it is kind of slow. Okay, just bear with me. Now, when you click on compare, what system will do? It will display the differences between these two roles. One is the operator, the other one is warehouse manager. Right. Now you have an option whether you just want to see only what is in the first role, which is not available in the second role. Then you can click this, and you can play around with these. This will tell you the differences between the two roles. Okay, and if you want to export, you can always export this data to Excel sheets. So most of the Oracle pages have this export where you can export the data to Excel sheets. Clear? Okay. Now, in case if you want to create a new role, you can still do this one. So I mean, you can create it from scratch, or you can duplicate this one, which means copy functionality, so that you can use this existing role and create a new role, which is a copy of that, and you can remove what is not applicable for that. Okay, so as part of the course curriculum, what we'll do, we'll create, I'm going to show how to create a custom role, which will allow you to view items only, which means any user who has access to this role, they can only view the items, they cannot update. Okay, or for inventory, we'll create one custom role which will allow them to just view on and view transactions, view inventory transactions. It's clear? Okay, and for order management, we'll create one custom role which will allow the user to just view policy sales orders and view price list. Any questions? Okay, now here you have something called as users. Now in application, there are two kinds of user. One is an admin, or you can call as implementation user. And the other one is employee user. The difference between these two is implementation user is a consultant like us who is responsible for implementing or configuring the application based on the customer requirements. Employee user is the one who actually performs transactions in the system. Okay, so you have employee user as well as implementation user. Implementation user is ideally someone who someone who configures the applications. Okay, now here you have something called as users. When you click on this users, now I'm going to search a user. Okay, this is my user account. Okay, now when you click on this user account, okay, now system displays all this information: first name, last name. Currently, this is not associated to any employee record, so it has just the user account. Okay, now it shows active. In case if you want to reset the password, you can do this one. If you want to edit so that you can add roles.
Yeah, hi Pramod.
Sorry,
I'm
it
just
got
seeing the Ckick start.
sorry, it got disconnected.
Okay, you got an introduction, right? No issue.
Right. Okay, I click on this edit. Okay, then I have an option to add roles. So I click on this add roles. Okay, now here you have two options. You can enter search for a role. Okay, let's say in case if I want to add this role, I can do this one. Okay, then I click on this add role. This is one option. Or probably you have a user. Okay? You have already one user, and that user has a lot of rules, and you want to replicate the same rules what that specific user has. Maybe SCM dot this one user. Let's assume. Okay, let's say for example, I have a user SCM underscore IMPL or SCM dot IMPL. Okay, now what I can do, I can use this user roles and I can copy to the existing roles. Okay, now any role that is part of this SCM instructor will be given to this user. This is also you can do. 5 roles has been added. Clear? So this is how you can create add roles. Okay, now you click on save and close. Now in case if you want to compare two different users, you can still do this one. Okay, in case if you're thinking you don't want to you want to see what is the difference between two different users in terms of roles, you always have that option to compare. Just like the roles, you also have an option here. Okay, let me add 2 more roles. These are the roles that are used for order management. So let me quickly save and close. Click on this, right? So what we did is we just navigated to the user, reviewed the roles, and we have assigned the roles. Okay. And we click on save and close. Okay. In case if you want to compare two users, you always have an option to click on this compare users here. So what it will do, it will give an option to search two different users and do the comparison. That's what it does. Okay. So this is all about the user. Again, there are a lot of other options which are available. So for demo purpose, we just want to stick to the agenda. Okay. But when it comes to the training, we're going to cover other functionalities of this user accounts. Sorry, I mean security accounts. Okay. Right. Now, next one is your FSM. Okay. Now, when you click on this username on the top right side, it expands and it displays a couple of options here. Right. Now, then you click on this setup and maintenance. In EBS, for each module, you have something called a setup. Correct? Each module, when you click on the module inventory, you have setup, order inventory, setup. Likewise, here also you have setup, but to navigate to setup, ideally you have to click on this and go to setup and maintenance. This is called as FSM page. This opens and this is where you start configuring all your applications. Okay. Now, in case if you want to implement the manufacturing or inventory management, so inventory is part of your manufacturing and supply chain management. So you can see here, and anything that you're seeing on my left side is a functional area. Okay, these are all required. On my right side, based on the functional area, it displays some task. It displays some task. Now it will tell you what is required that is to be implemented. Now, if you want to check everything, then you click on all tasks. Then it displays all the tasks. Now, for for implementation purpose, what is actually required depends upon the customer requirements. But bare minimum setups you have to implement so that it can run the applications. Okay. Now, this is your functional area and this is your facility. Sorry, task under that specific functional area. Now, there are a lot of things that you can do on this FSM page, which means when you click here and go to offerings, this will display what are all the offerings, which means what is that you're going to subscribe, what is that you're going to be. Based on that, you're going to enable it and you can use the product. Now, there is something called as new features here. In case if you want to read or review the features of the cloud application for manufacturing, you can see what are the new features, what are the available features, what are the future updates. Everything is part of the features listing here, which is like a documentation. You can review this and you can enable this based on the customer requirement. Okay. Now, when you click here, you have additional, links for setup and task. You can download these using a PDF, HTML, and Excel also. Okay. Now, there might be some features which needs to be enabled, then only it will work. They are called as opt-in features. Okay, depends upon the business requirement. By seeded, they're not enabled, but you have to enable them. Then only those will be applicable. Then only you can start configuring the application based on that. Okay. Now, this FSM page will allow you to configure the application, and it will allow you to import export the data. Let's assume you have a requirement. Okay, you have units of measurements. I'm just giving an example. Okay, you have 100 units of measurement that you have to load into the applications. Okay, doing this manually takes a lot of time, and there's chance of getting into errors. Right now, we need a spreadsheet mechanism where system can load all these 100 using automation process. Now that functionality is available in cloud. That is called as export and import option, which means what you can do is you create a sample data, you create a sample unit of measurement, probably each, then you can upload all the units of measurement using export and import feature. Export and then import, which means first you export the data, then it exports in the CSV file format, the zip file, then enter all your data in this Excel spreadsheets, and then upload into the application set. This is called as export and import functionality in FSM. Okay, so this ideally used for bulk loading the data into the cloud applications for all the configuration. Again, there are some pages where you don't have these options, but most of the configurations have this option to do the bulk upload. Okay, right? Apart from that, what you can do in this page is you can also compare the data before even loading. Let's say, for example, I have, let's say, 100 units of measurement which I've created. Now I got a new file which shows the 150. This is a new file which I've received, but I'm not sure which 100 are loaded, or available in the system. So before even loading this, what you can do, you can compare the data prior to loading, which means you upload this 150 data, then what system will tell you what are loaded, what is not loaded, and if there are any discrepancies. Everything is part of a report in Excel sheet related. This is clear. There's a functionality of the FSM. First thing is majorly it is used for configuring, then uploading the data and comparing your data. This is clear. Hello. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Right. Now, in case if you want to do the configurations, ideally what you can do, you can just click here and click on manage units of measurement. It takes you to the page. Or you can click on this page. This is called as task panel and click on search. This ideally takes you to the task. Here also you can search it. Both the ways. In case if you know the task, you can search in the first page. If you don't know the task, basically if you know only the partial rate characters, then you can search here. Now we created a user, sorry, we have reviewed a user and we gave a role. Let's say there is a user who works in Hyderabad. You have multiple warehouses. Let's say these are my warehouses. One is in Hyderabad, Delhi, Mumbai. Okay, 3 different warehouses, right? Though you have a warehouse manager role, you still need to tell the system which warehouse you want to operate or for which warehouse you want to do the activities, right? This is called as a data access in system. In EBS, probably you have HR operating unit, I'm not sure, on MO operating unit, which controls what operating units, right? Same in shipping per inventory, you also give access. Here also you need to give the access. Though you are warehouse manager, still you need to give the access so that you can tell the system for which warehouses he is going to access. This is called as manage data access for users. Clear? If you don't give the access, you can just see the icon, but when you go to the screens, it tells you that you don't have access. So I'll just give I'll search for this user. You can inventory organizations. I'll give, let's say, one warehouse and click on save and close. So what I did, now that specific this user is going to access 002 warehouse. Okay, maybe I have got order entry. Okay, now business unit. Business unit is more or less related to your operating unit. Just okay. Here I'm going to give, let's say, US1 operations. right? So what we did, we just gave access to warehouse and we gave access to the business unit to perform some operations or task in the system. This is called as managed data access. If you have just role, it doesn't work. You have to have the access to. Okay. Now here in my on my home page, if I click on supply chain execution, let me log out and log in back. So now you see there are a lot of icons which are displayed. Now I click on this inventory management. Now when you click on this inventory management, you'll see a landing page for inventory management. Now you can see, inventory ordination that is assigned here, and this will also display some sort of graphs, okay, or pie charts, which will tell you data in, which will display the data in, graphical method. This is called as infolets. Whatever you're seeing, these are called as infolets, okay? So which gives you, high-level information about your transactions, right? Now, when you click on this task panel, you see a lot of icons or links that are displayed here. These are called as tasks. Now, in case if you want to search inventory for inventory organizations, right? So you click on this manage item quantities, then you click on search. Now, when you click on search, it ideally displays all the quantities that are available in this warehouse. So currently, I just gave only organization, so it displays everything. The organization is nothing but the warehouse. All right. Now you can review the data and you can view the data here. Okay. Now when you expand it, it ideally tells you what's the position, which means sub inventory or locator or lot or serial, everything based on this. Okay. This is how you can review on and balance or check your stock for items. Okay. Now, when you click on this link again, icon, it has a bunch of options here. Create miscellaneous transactions. To perform all inventory transactions, you come to the screen and you click on this task panel. You use this, okay, to perform inventory adjustments or move the material from one location to the other location, okay, or warehouse to warehouse transactions. You can do this from here. Or if you want to review the transactions, you can click on this review completed transaction and you can search it based on different search criteria, and you can export the data. Once you have the data under search results, you can export this data. Okay, this is your review completed transactions. I'm just going to show you the pages for your understanding. Okay. Then you have something called as counts, which is nothing but your cycle counts and physical inventory. In case if you have a requirement to count a specific items on a periodic basis, then you use this cycle counts so that you can count and you can monitor what is physically available, what is in the system. Okay, if you want to do a physical inventory, which is once a year you do, which is called as a wall-to-wall, then use this physical inventory. Okay, then you have shipments. In case if you want to ship the materials, fulfill your orders, then you come to the screen and you do the manage shipments and you can ship the products. Prior to that, you pick the orders, okay, pack the orders, and then you perform the shipments. Then the last one is receipts, which ideally helps you to receive the material. It can be a purchase order, it can be an RMA, it can be any returns that you have received, or internal transfers. Okay, or if you want to do any inspections, you can still do
Excuse
this
me.
one. Yes.
Excuse me. In the dashboard, can we see like what are the POs are pending to receive, like
Pending
which
to
is the
receive, that
receipt
is
and not
correct. So
not
that is
delivered?
correct. That is part of your procurement. So whatever you're seeing here, this is seated dashboards. Okay, now when you talk about the procurement, you have to go to the procurement dashboards and you can check that
It
one.
means the receipt hasn't completed, but delivery is not completed. And in between there is inspection option, right?
Correct.
Accepted,
That is
accepted.
correct. So this dashboards, whatever you're seeing, right?
Yes.
This will display what is currently available. Let's say receipt lines. If I move the mouse here, it will show awaiting put away, which means there are some receipts in this warehouse that are just created a receipt. I mean, it is the record is created for receiving purpose, but put away is not done, which means the material is not moved to the shelf in the system. So these are all waiting for that one, put away receipt. But your question is for procurement. What is open for receiving? That will be part of your procurement dashboards when you have to navigate to the procurement side. When you have procurement access.
Can we compare one item stock is availability to different organizations at a time?
Can you repeat the question again?
Can we compare the item stock between the two organizations? Like
Compare
availability.
stock.
Yeah.
See, again, you have manage item quantities here. Okay, this manage item screen will tell you, what is available, and you can search here based on the item. Okay, so whatever is available in search, right? Either you can use the item or organization, and you can review the stock here itself. You're saying that what is available in the sense you can just.
Same like as an ABS, we can see the one organization data.
Yeah, I mean, if you remove this one, basically, see, one of the field is mandatory.
Yeah.
Correct. Let's say, for example, if the item is available in
It is
multiple
asterisk,
organizations.
right?
Yeah, asterisk. So, which means one of the field is mandatory, either item or organization. If you know the item, then it will tell you in how many inventory organizations it is available. If you enter the organization, it sticks to that. See, ideally, based on the keyboard, whatever you're entering, right? Based on that, it filters and gives the data, either item or organization.
Okay, thank you.
Now, this is all about inventory management. Again, you can do inventory transactions, review transactions, check your stocks, check your orders that are needs to be fulfilled, or receivings, returns, counts, everything that is part of your inventory. Okay.
A question,
Yes, please.
Pramod.
Yes, please.
The earlier page, the search page, is it customizable? Like new field needs to be added as
Yeah, that is
separately?
again here. Okay, let me show you that quickly. That's a good question. So let me go to this inventory management again. Now, when you say customized, right? So now you cannot add a new fields which is not available. System tells you, I mean, there is an option to add new fields for the search criteria, which is already available. If you go to this manage item quantities, in case
I think in a sandbox or we create a role for you or access.
Okay. Now here you have something called as add fields. So what you can do if you want to add a new field to the search criteria, you can do it. Item description if you want. You can add this field. It's already there, you can delete it. But see what is part of this add fields, you can add everything to your search criteria and then you can save this. Okay, so you can save this search criteria so that next time that will be part of the search criteria. And if you click on this save as default and run automatically, whenever you come to the screen, system will display this data. It runs everything and gives the data.
Specific or global?
This is for your search only.
Global.
Specific. Because you this is based on the user preference.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
One more question, Pramod. The business context, the org that you have chosen, right? The data access 001. The data I mean, as a consultant needs to be seeded into the system, right? That organization information. Is it a part of FSM?
See, ideally you create warehouses, which is nothing but your inventory organizations, correct? Then you create sub-inventories, then you create a locator, which is part of your organization structures. Okay. Now you have Hyderabad warehouse or Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai. Now depends upon the role and access. What you do, you need to assign one of these warehouses to your user account so that you can see the data for that warehouse. So as a consultant, initially you create all those configurations, how to create a warehouse, how to create the shelves, bins and everything. Then once it is developable, then the business user starts doing the transactions, not the consultants. Consultants can only configure the applications.
So that is part of FSM?
Yeah, that is what is part of FSM?
Creation. Yes.
What is it? Can you repeat the question? What is part of?
Yes. Yes, like creation of the orgs, sub inventories, locators, and
Correct.
all.
That is correct. So if you go to the FSM, all configurations are done in the FSM itself, which means creating your inventory, creating your sub inventories, locators, all your structures. Okay, creating your unit of measure, everything is part of your FSM itself.
Like profiles, enabling, disabling, adding
Everything,
profile.
anything that has to do with the setups is part of your FSM.
Okay.
But again, at the what do you call? There are some pages where you can navigate to perform tasks for that module. Maybe the price list creation. Okay, price list creation, right? So that is not from your FSM. That is from your order management. If you go to
Right. And Pramod, question is like any of the task or activity on this application is taking time. If we want to enable a trace, like a backend trace or a DB trace or the application form or runtime trace, that has to be done from the same FSM.
FSM itself. Yes.
So through that is through profile.
Yes, those are reference profiles. You can do that one. Okay. So this is your product management. So I click on this product information management. Now, this is your landing page for product information management. This is where you ideally search your items, manage your items, create items, and everything you can do from here. Okay. So if you want to search items, click on manage items. Okay. Now, yes. Let me see if I have anything. It's a new refresh application. Okay, so let's do the other way. Okay, so let me go to the. So again, let me just give you a background of the screen. Okay, now this screen will allow you to manage all your items. Okay, review your items, and if you want to compare, you can compare the items, and if you want to export the data, you can export this. This is all what you can do in items. Okay, now if you want to create an item, let's quickly do this. Okay, create item. It looks like I don't have access. Okay, let's do this quickly. Okay, I'm going to quickly do create one item. Don't worry about these options what I'm selecting. For now, just think that I'm creating a new item. Okay, I'm going to use a template rather than creating manually. So I just create an item. Okay, so I'll create 20. Okay. So this is where you create an item. If in case if you want to create an item, again, these are all your specifications. You enter the item information, you enter the unit of measurement, then your specifications. Each when you say specifications, you're going to enable the attributes for manufacturing, service, inventory, order management, and procurement, which means what are the details for these items, what this item can do. Okay, so all those attribute informations you're going to enter here, and then you click on save. Again, if you want to inactivate the item, you can inactivate. Okay, if you want to use a copy functionality, you can do this one. Everything is part of your item creation process here. Okay. So this page will allow you to create items and update your item attributes. Now here are all these options. Okay. So in the interest of time, I'm just going to show you just item creation process. Again, there are a lot of other things that you do here. Let's say creating categories. It can be your functionality catalogs, or manage item request, which is nothing but a concept which is available where you can create an item using a request. It goes through an approval process, and system finally, once it is approved, it is available for usage. Until then, that will not be available for any transactions. This is ideally in case if you're launching a new product in business. So it goes through multiple levels: product, each departments, procurement department, sales, and costing department, or warehouse operations department. They enter the attributes, and then they send it across to the final review, and the product manager reviews and approves. Then the product is available for usage. That is a scenario. So this can be done using manage item request scenario. Okay. So we are running late. So let me just show you order management quickly. Now this is your order management screens, where you navigate to create sales orders, review all your um, sales orders. Now there is slight difference comparison with EBS. In EBS, everything is based on the order types workflows. Here you have something called as orchestration process. Okay. Now, if you see this dashboard, homepage of the order management, you can see how many orders are on hold, how many orders are in error, how many of them are past due, how many are in error. Everything is shown here. When you click on this, it ideally takes you to the page which contains all the orders. So you can create an order. Basically, if I click on this, right, what it will do, it will take me to the page which contains errors of the orders. So currently it was showing 2. So these are the 2 orders. So if you open this, it ideally takes you to the detailed page of the order where you can see the information. Okay, this is your header information, then you have line information. Okay, so everything is based on the business units, whatever you are creating, which is nothing but your operating unit in EBS world. Now, in EBS, you have order type and workflows. Here, you don't have workflow concept. Here, it's called as orchestration process, which will control how you want to route or design your orders. Maybe your orders, some of the orders needs to be only shipped. Some of the orders only needs to be invoiced. Some of the orders have to be a back orders, or some of the orders needs to be go through certain workflows or stages. That all can be done using workflow. That is called as orchestration process. You still have order type concept here, but this is just for identification purpose of an order. Okay, this doesn't drive anything. In case if you want to drive your workflow based on the order types, you can still do this. Is clear? Now you have something called as transformation rules. The moment you enter this order type, you want to display something, you can still do this. It is called as a defaulting rules, which will allow you to default a value based on a specific conditions. You can still do this one. Okay, and you also have an approval mechanism in cloud. If you want to enable approvals, maybe your requirement is if order is created for warehouse, sorry, wholesale orders, and the amount is greater than 1,000, I want to send for approval. You can still do this one, which is part of your approval mechanism. Okay, so you can enable that one. You can enable the credit limits. Okay, you can do a lot of things here. Okay, as part of order management configurations, we'll do all these configurations and we'll do different scenarios. Okay. Now I quickly cover the data conversion strategy, how it works in cloud. Now in cloud, you have something called as docs.oracle.com where you can directly navigate and download the docs. I'll just call it template. Okay, it's called as docs.oracle.com. So what you can do, you can download the templates. Okay, in case if my requirement is uploading inventory transactions, let's assume. Okay, inventory on and balance I want to upload. That's my requirement. What I can do, I can download this template from Oracle. get the latest template from Oracle, and I enter the data. I enter all my data. Basically, I enter this data. What is my organization? What is my item? What is my sub inventory locators? What is my lot and serial control? And what is the quantity? It can be loaded using miscellaneous adjustments or account aliases. Everything I enter the data. I enter the data, then create CSV, which ideally creates a zip file. Then load. I'm going to run two programs in cloud. One is for uploading, which is called as load interface program. Then I will run one more program, which is import program, which takes the data from interface to base tables. That is how it works. But whereas in EBS, you have to create the file, put it in staging, then run interface, which is most of the time it is technical, not a functional role. But when it comes to Fusion or cloud, everything is a functional role. There is nothing technical here, which means creating the data file, uploading the file to the application, running the interface, running the input programs, everything is part of your functions. And then you do the data validation. Is this clear? That's a major difference in comparison with the EBS. Is this clear? Any questions?
Yes, brother.
Okay, fine. So when you compare with EBS, this is the difference. EBS, you need a technical consultant to create the program, run the program, right? But here it's not like that. Just as a functional owner, you are going to load the data based on the data that is given by the business. Now I'm going to touch base on reports quickly because we're running short of time. Go to the tools. Now you have something called as the reports. Click on browse catalog. Okay, this will take you to a page where you can run your SQL queries, which has the SQL editor. Okay. Now I click on this create and click on data model. Data model is nothing but
We can
it's
open a number of pages, right? By copy paste of this URL.
yeah, you can just duplicate this and it opens it.
Yeah.
Let's say if I have to just run a basic query, I'm going to give you underscore address. This basic query I'm going to use and click on OK. In case if you have used data, title takes time, but let's click on this data view. Now you have two options, tree view and table view. I click on table view. Now this is how your backend table access. Now this is how you can access backend tables. Is this clear? And you can just use this data and you can create your own report also using this. Is this clear? This is called as BA reports. Ideally, you are running a SQL and creating a report out of the data. Okay. Now there is something called as again you can run any. You can run the data for any tables, whatever the access you. Okay. Now there is something called as OTP. You just click on the analysis. Now my requirement is I just want to create a simple report for order management or sales report I want to create. Okay, rather than going to this BA tables, which has got all the IDs, I just want to see a report which gives me what is the order number, what is the creation date, simple report. So what I'll do, I'm going to create an OTB, Oracle Transaction Business Intelligence, which is like a drag and drop methodology. You don't have to write a SQL query. All you can do, identify the table fields and just use a drag and drop functionality. Just bear with me. It's taking time.
Can we perform DML or DDL operations on the window that you shown where we written the queries?
When you say what is that DL?
data manipulation language, like insert updates,
Okay,
deletes,
no,
or
no, 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 no. So again, guys, this is only viewing the data. You can just run the data and view the data. You cannot update.
okay, index creation and DDL statements creation
Okay.
of any other things
See,
also
see
not
again,
allowed.
just run SQL, view the data. That is only possible.
Okay,
You cannot insert a table. You cannot basically, update any records here. Just like in EBS, if you have stored access, if you have access, right, you just use your update statements and you update the data itself in the backend. That is not possible here. But in case if you have a data corruption issues, if you want to update, probably you can raise an SR. Oracle will help you with that one.
sure.
Just bear with me. This is not happening.
During this time, I have a question, like when we have written a query there to view the data, if it is not completing, taking long time, so from this application perspective, what all we have to diagnose or to check?
Yeah, it's a system performance issues. But I mean, again, we from the front end, you don't have an option to see anything. But if it is a performance issue, again, in comparison with EBS, you have a lot of options in EBS to check the logs and everything. But here you have to take the help of Oracle.
Yeah.
For some things are not in our control. Okay, let me just complete this. Okay, now you have a subject area. I just click on this create and I click on analysis. Now I want to just create a simple report. Okay, the report is for for orders, sales orders. So what I do, I just click on this one of the folder and click on created by just creation date and currency. Okay, then I just want to know order, order type, order date. Okay, I'm just going to pick few columns and then I click on results. Now see, you get the data. This is how you can create reports and you can just export this data. If you want, you can also create, graphs, pie charts, all these things. Clear? So using this data, you can create analysis also. Okay, how many orders are there which are on hold or not shipped? Any data any analysis that you want to do, you can do this from here. You can export the data issue. So this is called as an ODB report, which ideally helps you to, create your own reports without any code. Is clear?
Yes, Pramod, yes.
Okay. All right. So this is all about your Oracle Cloud applications. I think we're almost there. Okay. Any questions?
So they promote the pages that you have shown, right? Is it on what technology? Is it Apex?
This pages I have to check. I don't have a right answer on that, but I'll get you the
Okay.
answer. Okay.
And during this course, we will not touch that, right? I mean, any changes to that page?